Guys, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
What?
Zac
A day off yesterday, and the offense comes out like this. You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
I'm Nathaniel Hacker right now. Welcome into the DNVR Broncos podcast. Yeah, I'm not pissed. I can never be pissed, especially after watching Broncos, especially after hanging out with Hank and my guy Ryan Green today, filling in for Ryan Koningsberg. We always have to have Ryan on the show, so thanks for filling in.
It's the Ryan seat.
Yeah,
that designated Ryan.
Yep. That today, after practice, we were supposed to talk to DJ Jones, and we did talk to KJ Hamler. We kind of take a similar tone on this. You either got to have RK or RG on the show.
I like that. I feel like KJ Hamler of the show. Yeah, my knee's been a little... No, I'm kidding.
Where's the brace?
Yeah, it only comes on when I play basketball. That's because I'm an old man.
So today we talked to KJ Hamler. He's off the PUP, which is a great sign to see. And we'll dive into some more KJ stuff. But he said he's still the fastest guy on the team, even with his brace on. And he's running 21 to 23 miles an hour. What do you think you guys could hit?
Oh, God.
Oh, wow. So they had next
before
to
my hamstrings detached from my body.
You can put a brace on. I'll give you a brace.
Oh, man.
It's not gonna help
I would be so happy. It would be a lot like that Office scene, right, where we're like running by. It would be,
Exactly.
I'd be happy with 15.
There was one of those across the street from my high school. So we used to just go like run by it.
Oh, yeah. You know what's really sad is when you run by it and it doesn't light up. And you're like, oh, no.
And you can't even register.
I was hitting like a 16 back then. I think I'm like a 13 now. The thing is, like, 14 seems bold. 13 seems like a big gap from 16.
Right, it does. It certainly does.
Yeah, they need halves.
Man, on those things, yeah, that means you're slow. If you're tracking halves,
kilometers,
Yes.
that would.
I wonder if you could flip it into kilometer mode and run by.
Do we think? Yeah, and catch a photo of that.
Yeah.
Do we think KJ? No one followed up if you said miles per hour. Did he actually say miles per hour? Or did he just say 21?
If he isn't running 21 to 23 miles per hour, what is he doing on this team?
Yeah, it's a very good
I don't know.
point.
I think he might be the funniest guy on the team. I would keep him around.
He's right up there.
Yeah.
Garrett Bowles, but in a very different sort of way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it was pretty crazy. I think we were all taken back talking to KJ today after practice because he is one of the funniest guys on the team. And he opened up just about his struggles this past year mentally, even mentioned potentially taking his own life at one point because it just got so intense for him with the injuries, with losing his grandma. And I think, Hank, you're going to detail that on the DNVR.com later today.
We were talking about on the way out, like, you go into that. Like, I came into the day as soon as we saw the news thinking like, okay, my job, I got to write the story about KJ Hamler coming back to practice and talk about, what it's like sitting out there with the clipboard last week, taking notes, doing that sort of thing. And then, things kind of took the turn and got a little bit deeper. So it's not the story that I anticipated writing today, but that's what we're going to be doing is kind of digging into the stuff that he had to say.
I mean, really, do you expect an athlete to open up like that?
No.
That is true.
They definitely say, yeah, it was hard. And, a lot of them would say, you don't even know the half of it. But he was open. Like, he was just straight up talking. And I'm glad. It seemed like he went for 30 minutes talking, but I don't think anyone was upset about that.
No, not at all. And one of the coolest things that he said was he's this happy person. Everyone thinks he's the happiest guy, but he said it's important to ask for help. And I just think it's a really good reminder to everyone. This guy, former second-round pick, just an absolute stud. Seems like he has everything together. He wasn't afraid to ask for help when things got tough and said he needed it. And I just think that's a really important message for everyone to remember.
Totally. Again, like just not the way you expected this day to go.
Yeah.
Like not the story you expect. I show up saying like, okay, I'm going to ask the question about the clipboard. And then instead you're asking questions like, yeah, so who did you talk to when you were going through that? Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Some heavy stuff.
Yeah, very heavy stuff. So I look forward to hearing that. And let's dive into what happened on the football field because that was also very interesting. Some twists and turns there, but got to give a shout out to our presenting sponsor, DraftKings Sportsbook. We're using the code DNVR and you'll get a sign up or a potential, or was it a free bet? No, not a free bet, a risk-free bet.
There you go.
Up to $1,000 by using that code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. And so, guys, today, Broncos had yesterday off after 4 straight practices. Their first day off after training camp has started. And the offense was bad.
Yeah.
The offense was bad coming out. Yes, to put it lightly. There was just nothing going on at the beginning of practice.
Right. I said, like, the first day, I was surprised that it didn't seem like this team had any, like, rust to knock off. Today was that day. That I could tell. You know, it was like, okay, they've been used to running routes in Russ's backyard, but now the pads are actually on. It wasn't full contact. That's tomorrow. But, yeah, they just looked like they were, like, kind of getting their wheels under them. And the defense, I mean... that defense, I am getting more and more confident with that defense and all three units the more I see them.
Yeah, I completely agree. And it really started on the first play, but do have to say that you brought it up. Pads were on today. Yep. And so today was a shells day, which means helmets and shoulder pads. And I asked Nathaniel Hackett, okay, how does it change tomorrow when they're actually wearing pants, with the pads? And he pretty much said pants are just a mindset thing. So he was talking about today kind of being like pads were really on. For the first time, and like nothing's really gonna change tomorrow that much. And it started the very first play of practice, and this is probably where Nathaniel started to get a little pissed. Russ drops back to pass, looks for Courtland Sutton deep. Courtland has a half step on Pat Surtain, something you don't say very often. Very rare. Russ underthrows it just a little bit, so Courtland slows down, doesn't have to turn around or anything, allows Pat to catch up to him, but still, the ball hits him right in the chest. He has it with both of his hands, comes down to the ground really hard, and the ball pops out.
Yeah, that was rough. And, you know, again, it's just so weird seeing anybody get any sort of separation, any sort of position on Surtain. Like, it's kind of just mind-boggling. Even when it's a situation like that where, you know, I'm not sure what was happening at the line of scrimmage, but there was nobody any deeper than them. There was, like, no safety. There's nobody, like, within 5 yards, not even, like, of them, but just that far downfield. Yeah. And so it's just those two all alone at that hash mark, and Sutton has inside position. You're like, oh, this is the chance. Yeah. He's going to beat Surtain for the first time in camp. And he's just like, he goes to the ground, and you're so, until he hit the ground and the ball bounced out, you thought it was a catch.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys, I think we're talking about how underwhelming Courtland has been. Can you flip that and say, you know what, that might have been positive. He did have a step on Pat Surtain. And honestly, the first thing, I was disappointed that he dropped it, but then I was like, oh, I hope he gets up, because it was a hard, and he was slow to get up. I was like, oh boy, of course, first day of pads, Courtland's gonna get hurt somehow. And so I was happy about that. But again, like you said, it's rare, especially deep. But Surtain, it doesn't seem like you're going to be beating him vertically.
No.
So I mean, there could be some encouragement there, but yeah, it was like,
and that whole battle all day.
Like, and it continued.
It did continue. It's just so incredible watching those guys go at it, because they're both so big. Like, they're so big and so fast. So you stand right there and it's like, what are these humans? Like, are these even humans? And so you have that one. You have the one time that Sutton actually did get him was the first play, second play. Well, the first few plays, they started those red zone drills 20 yards out.
Even before that, though, you're jumping the gun a bit, because before that, about 4 plays after that first bomb, Russ said, Courtland had him that first time. I'm going to try it again, which I loved that he was showing confidence, wanted to do it again on Pat Surtain. Just don't. Like, if you beat Pat Surtain once, you got to capitalize. And if you don't capitalize, just don't try again. Just don't try again. And they did. Surtain was not half a step behind. He was like half a step ahead. Again, it just looked like he was the intended receiver, and he just timed it perfectly. It was a deep ball down the left sideline. Not as deep as the first one, but a jump ball. Pat swats it away before Courtland can do anything. There was nothing Courtland could have done to catch that. It was a pretty good ball, and Pat Surtain was just Pat Surtain.
You see, he, like, this little guy. It reminds me of, like, you know, those squirrels that, like, they puff out and their arms are like the flying squirrels. It's like he's like one of those where it's like, oh, just a little squirrel coming through here, and then bang, he just gets so wide, and all of a sudden, like, there's like if that ball could have been 13 feet in the air and he would have knocked that away. It's just like, what is happening? There's just no way to get the ball by him.
Yep, it's very true. And then, so more struggles, more tips. Josie Jewell actually had a fantastic tip. I mean, this was pass broken up today for the Broncos defense, because Josie was getting in on the action. Russ tried to hit Judy coming across the middle. Josie, it seemed like he jumped 12 feet in the air, which I didn't know like he was possible of. Got a hand on it, broke it up. There were a couple of other tipped balls by the secondary as well. They were the ones breaking it up. And then it was with the second team unit where Baron Browning got a sack. Then right after that, there was a false start on the offensive line, and Hackett was losing it behind the scenes. Did you guys catch him losing it?
No, I didn't.
I missed the anger. I did not get to see. I wish, because I was curious as to if this dude could get angry.
Yep.
So I'm kind of upset that I missed yelling at him.
Yep. And he said that he was building frustration throughout practice, and Russ sensed it. And right after that false start, Hackett must have said something that Russ heard. And Russ gathered not just the first team, not just the second team, but every single player on offense, had a talk with them for 30 seconds or so. And then they broke into a red zone period. And Hank, that's where things started to turn around.
Things did start to turn around. That was so much fun. We watched a clip, and I've mentioned this a little bit before, but that's where Courtland Sutton got behind Pat Surtain for a touchdown. And I remember watching it and just like, oh, wow, he just got separation on Surtain deep. Like, oh, my God, what did I just see? Like, is this a half-speed period? Did I miss something here? And Kale, like, pulled up the clip while we were sitting here earlier and was like, oh, that was pretty good coverage. And it's like, that was pretty good coverage, isn't it? But because it's Pat Surtain, when you see, like, yeah, he had 3/4 of a step on that man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that's a...
Whoa.
There was a
Pat,
window to make that play for a 6'4" receiver if you put it in behind him back of the end zone.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what it takes to beat that guy. And that's a play that Courtland Sutton and Russell Wilson can make.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That's the one that he absolutely should be making.
Absolutely.
And it was 2nd and 8 from the 18-yard line, and Courtland ran to the left side and just beat Surtain, like you said, didn't like crush him, but had enough of a step on him where he got a touchdown. The very next play, it's Jerry Jeudy going from the right side to the left side, and
Wide open.
after he pops through the middle, he's the only guy on the left side of the field.
Wide open.
And Russ easily finds him for a touchdown. So I like that. I'm like, okay, we're getting some momentum here.
Red zone scoring, guys.
Where it counts. And I'm like, okay, defense dominated the first half. Maybe we're going to have to change this. Maybe the offense is going to win the day. But Russ's speech only lasted in the red zone period, because the rest of practice was worse, in my opinion, than the beginning of practice.
Wow.
Because what concerned me about the rest of practice was, I think there was 3 or 4 team periods, and pretty much every single pass was either a slant, a very quick pass within 2 yards of the line of scrimmage, or screens. They threw like 4 or 5 screens, and there were so many incompletions. I mean, we're not talking about like the first play of the day where it's a 50-yard pass down the middle of the field that gets broken up and hits the ground. No, we're talking about easy passes that were not being completed.
2 of them from Russell Wilson that we were standing together. They were just confusing to look at. One, a little bubble screen, maybe the 5-yard line, 8-yard lines where it starts. Just a little bubble screen type thing to Courtland Sutton. And Russ throws it like he's running kind of upfield. Like 3 yards upfield. And you throw it and it hits the ground. You're just like, what just happened?
I can't remember which defensive back was there, but I thought he had the better angle of the ball. I was like, if had your eyes been on it, you may have had it. So,
that was one where you're just like, what the hell? And then the other one was the out route. That's another one. I think it was from the 8 where Sutton runs up to the goal line, cuts out, and that's Surtain on him. And he gets the angle. Russ just leads him too far. And you're like, wait, this is like 2 passes, 2 of the last 3-4 passes. They're just clean misses from Russ. Now, at the end of that period, the special teamers go do whatever they have to do, and Russ stays behind with Sutton, and they work on that throw. And we were watching that part together. It's like he missed that bubble screen throw a couple more times right there, and then got him in the hands. And then they work on that out route afterward, and he leaves the first one behind him, and you're just like, is everything okay here? Like, this is not what's supposed to look like. But then he hit him on it. It's like,
the pads and
I guess
the shoulder movement. Come on, Hank. He's just you're getting used to it.
And again, it's not like I'm not concerned by it in any way. But
it sounds like you're hitting the panic button.
I know, but I just want to be very clear. I'm not hitting the panic button. But you see it, and you're just like, what? What is that?
Especially those 2 passes to Courtland in the red zone that maybe they're not touchdowns, but they're completions, and they're just so far off. But that was my biggest positive takeaway from today, was Russ's leadership. Totally. Now we are seeing it. And we've seen it through social media, him doing things off the field, him taking his teammates to places. But this was on the field things 2 different times in one practice. He gathers the entire offense together, regroups them, and then it works with an immediate response the following play in the following period. And then another time where one-on-one, him and Courtland stay, do some extra work when special teams is going on. And as crazy as it is, that's just not something we've seen. Like maybe Trevor Siemian or Drew Lock, maybe that is too much to gather the entire offense. Yeah. But we haven't even seen like we just messed that period up. Let's just stay one-on-one. That's like stuff any quarterback should do, but apparently not. Apparently you have to be like a Hall of Famer, and the Broncos finally have that.
All of that stuff, you just have to have it, and it seems so obvious, but there's so many quarterbacks who don't do it. Mm-hmm. Like the Kirk Cousins stuff that just came out. You know, first of all, it started with like the GM going to reporters and saying like, yeah, we don't have a Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes. Or it's like the one thing maybe we could wonder about is should we just blow up that quarterback position? But the other thing that happened yesterday was Justin Jefferson came out and said like, yeah, you know, we're not worried about it, but you know, the receivers organized a passing camp down in Florida, and you know, he's a family guy, so he takes his off season for himself. He didn't want to come down. And you see that, it's like that's Kirk Cousins. And if it's not a line where it's like anybody above Teddy Bridgewater is doing that sort of thing. Right. It's like there's this elite group of guys who, first of all, just understand that that's their role, but then also have the clout to actually make all these things happen. And Russell Wilson's one of them, and hopefully that turns out to be valuable. It definitely looks like a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to say that Russell Wilson's also a family guy, yet he still finds time for his teammates. And in fact, is it fair to say Sierra photobombed our video earlier today?
After practice? Yeah, we got that? Yo, check this out.
Let's see
Hank
Sierra.
will never be more
talking
famous.
points of camp. Pat Surtain pretty much dominating out there. Courtland Sutton a little bit quiet. Today, the battle starts. It's a one-on-one downfield, no safety help, nothing. You've got Surtain on Sutton, and Surtain's breaking inside. Yeah, the priorities here.
Ryan, you handled that perfectly. Anytime there's a chance to put Sierra on camera, you got to put her there.
Well, I saw a group of people walking out, and you can see me try and get them out of the frame because I'm like, oh, they're gonna probably make some noise.
Right, yeah.
And it wasn't until they started walking by I was like, oh, I know who that is. And that's when I was like, I'm done with Hank.
I was done with me too.
No one cares anymore. But yeah, no, I mean, what a photobomb.
Yeah, what a photo. And then, I mean, Sierra, she was asked for autographs right there, and she gave autographs.
Good for her.
Yeah, well, and then there's the guy who's been there at least half the times that we've been out there, who I guess has been trying to get his jersey signed by future junior.
Yeah.
So
who is 8?
Did you see the jersey that he was showing us?
Yeah.
Do you know that the one part that just annoys
the orange number on the white?
Thank you. I did not. That dude was so he has this
proud.
He has this Russell Wilson jersey. Half of it is a Broncos home jersey. Half of it is a Broncos away jersey. On the away side, the numbers are usually blue. The numbers were orange over here. And he was so happy, and he was like showing it off so much. I was not going to say anything. I was not going to be like, yeah, it's bootleg, by the way. But yeah, no, good for that guy.
It's like, how does that happen? Like the number's just orange? Like, we know better than that. Like,
I would have never picked up on that.
Really? Oh, it was like the first.
I know. That's the only reason I kept talking to him. I was like looking at it. I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I was just staring at the jersey like, yeah, blah, 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 future junior. Get it signed by future 2. And nobody will have that. Yeah, I'm sure he's going to sign the Russell Wilson jersey.
Also, why do you want the kid's signature?
He's 8.
Yeah. Right. What? Does he even know English? Does he know how to spell his name?
I know, right?
Wow. It's going to be gross.
I thought he even mentioned Wynn's name, which is Russ's youngest son, who's like 2. Yeah, I don't think he's signing that.
He just cleans the spit up.
Hey, that's all I need.
But that's what happens when you got Sierra and Russell Wilson hanging around all day.
Yeah. Oh, man. If you see the autograph sessions after practice, that is actually not a surprising move by Sierra. Dude, they are wild.
What were you saying about the flags?
Oh yeah, so on Saturday for Back Together Saturday night, Get Back Together. They handed out flags for the fans, you know, whatever, and a lot of them were just cooling each other off with them. But what they didn't what they didn't think would happen was when the players were autographing them, people would be shoving their flags out to have them signed. And so literally it was like he was being prodded by some of the flags because they were trying to get them signed. It was, I'm not blaming the Broncos. It was just an unforeseen circumstance that I found kind of funny.
I don't think they'll be doing that next year.
No, towels.
Yes.
Towels for sure.
And then towels are going to be just thrown on
Oh,
him.
dude, they threw footballs. Yeah, people really want his autograph.
Yes,
Was
they
Russell
do.
signing autographs again today?
Yeah.
Every day.
Every
so
day.
this is just what he does. Every day he signs autographs.
I'm amazed. I
That's-
cannot believe he hasn't tapped out yet.
It's so cool. And I think every day but one, the first thing he does out when he comes from the tunnel to start practice is he goes straight to the fans. And it's so smart. It's such a cool thing to do. Gets him up. And so he's the first one, or the first thing he does is meet fans, and the last thing he does is sign autographs. Pretty cool.
He gets it.
Yep, he
does
certainly
get it.
gets it. And someone else that gets it, our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery.
Yeah.
I mean, they just put out great beer after great beer after great beer. Palisade Peach, it is that time for a delicious
Yes,
beer.
it
Strawberry
is.
Sky. I mean, guys, we could have been crushing them today out of Broncos. It was so
Who
hot.
says I wasn't?
Yeah, there we go. You got a water
Yeah, so
bottle.
late to cut to Sierra.
And you just can't go wrong with any Breckenridge beer,
No.
wherever you are. And so if you want some and you're not in Denver, we'll go to Breck Beer Locator to find the closest liquor store bar to you where you can get your hands on some delicious Breckenridge beer. So check them out at breckbrew.com.
And the American Raptors. That is our local rugby team.
I just went to a game or a match.
really?
Match a few weeks ago.
It
Yeah,
is a match.
Yeah, it's a match.
Interesting. Learn something new on this podcast every day. How was the match?
Honestly, if you were like kind of itching for like that football contact, go see one of those games. It's really fun. It's different. It's not the same game. I'm not saying it's as entertaining, but it's just fun to watch. And a lot of the players are former football players on the Raptors. So it's just you'll see a name and you'll be like, oh wait, I kind of. And so
I like that.
I thought it was. I would have preferred 10 degrees cooler, but it was still very fun.
That is, I'm not gonna lie. There have been like that walk, like after practice, where you're like walking up the road, you're like walking, you're starting to get the dirt, everything's pavement, everything's hot. 2 days in a row, two practices in a row, I've been thinking like, why do I live here? Which is wild because forever
Could be
it's
going
like,
Arizona Cardinals.
oh my god, no, that is the wrong direction. But for so long, it's like, yeah, Colorado, perfect weather. It's like it's nice, it's not too bad in the winter, it's not too, but no, it gets hot out here. But that's not the point.
It sounds like he wants to transfer to Montana and go cover the Grizzlies.
And you all make fun of me when I'm complaining about the summertime. No.
Yeah, it's
Days like today, I'm on your side, Kale.
good point,
The
Kale.
sun hurt today.
Yeah. Any thoughts on corn, Kale?
Iowa sweet corn's the best.
Okay. No, that's not what I was thinking
Someone in the
about.
comment section's chiming in that we'll get to later.
Good. Oh, good. I'm just excited for that. But yeah, American Raptors, it's incredible. Free tickets. Go to their website. Go to Infinity Park. Again, free tickets to see pro sports. How could you beat that?
Yep. And if you want to leave a comment on this pod, go to thednvr.com, become a member with us. And that's one of the perks you get to tell Kale that Colorado Olathe sweet corn is better than any Iowa corn.
Yeah,
but
Kale.
seriously, if you want to leave your comments on our podcast, go to thednvr.com, become a member. And if you sign up for an annual membership, you get a free t-shirt of your choice. You also get all of our awesome coverage. I've already dropped a piece on what happened to practice today. We've already dropped a recap on YouTube already of this practice. We've got this pod going on. So make sure to cover all of our channels. What do we have? We've got TikTok. We've got YouTube. We've got Instagram. Obviously, we've got Twitter. Follow us everywhere. DNVR Broncos or DNVR Sports to get it all. Okay, guys, let's hop to our super producer, Kale, for our ride-ometer today.
Oh,
we kind of broke
I'm
it
so
down
interested in this one.
at where we're at now. Let's see where he goes.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Okay, so this is another 3. He's got a 3 every single practice. Are you guys concerned?
I'd have given him a 2.
It's
No,
two's
no
easier than
offense.
4.
I'm again just you have some bad days at practice. Today was a bad day, I think.
Those 2 misses.
Those 2 misses, and like you said, the bubble screens that he kept missing. I was like, oh,
Yep.
okay. It was just like not what I expected. It's not something I am expecting going forward. I was just like, this is not good today.
That was just so weird.
Yeah.
Like when it's just like Courtland Sutton all alone. There's like working on it, the 2 of them. There's nothing going on.
Yeah.
He throws it. It's like, oh, he hit him in the feet.
Right.
Like-
Right.
What? Like what?
That one was. I mean, you and I looked at each other and were like,
What just happened?
Yeah. And I think of a 2 would have been fair. Why I was okay, and I think why Hank agreed by bumping up to 3 was the intangibles and then the 2 touchdowns.
Yep.
But I mean, if he didn't have those 2 touchdowns,
Exactly.
we'd be talking a 1 at tops.
Ooh,
I don't know if
all right.
0 is possible on the rideometer, but it was. I mean, it was a bad day.
Yeah.
Outside of the intangibles and leadership he showed, and those 2 touchdown passes, which it's not like they were 50-yard touchdowns. Now they were in the red zone, so it's a trickier area to work in.
Totally.
We're talking about an 18-yard touchdown and a 20-yard touchdown. So it was really an underwhelming day for me from the offense, from Russ specifically. So now I got to know, what did Russ cook? What was he cooking up today?
All right.
Our special guest, you want to go first, or you want some time to think about it?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Okay.
Russ was cooking up a nice meal from In-N-Out. You know?
Oh, that's so good.
You know what I'm saying? Because when I expected really big things,
Yep.
and then a couple bites in and some fries in, I actually had to huddle my friends up and say, "Hey, did you say this was good? Did you say this was a good? Did you say this was a life-changing meal?"
Ryan
Are
Koenigsberg isn't on here today. You fill in and you take his role exactly.
Such a Ryan.
man.
So yeah, I was expecting something, and then it was like, I didn't hate it, but
Right,
it was.
right,
I
right.
don't, I'm not gonna join a cult over it.
It got
so-
the job done enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was there was enough sustenance.
And for you not liking it, definitely left you wanting more.
Yes. Well, I wanted a milkshake.
Right.
I didn't get my
Oh,
milkshake.
Have you ever had a milkshake there?
Yeah.
They're good there.
That's
You
what
don't
I'm
like
saying.
them? Oh,
That's
okay,
the, that's
okay,
the,
okay.
that was. I just didn't get the milkshake. I got the fries.
Fair. Oh, just the fries.
No, I got the
Oh,
burger
okay,
too,
you got
but the
burger
burger's
too.
underwhelming as well.
Okay, yeah. Hank, how do you follow that up?
I think it reminds me of one of the smoothies my girlfriend makes.
Oh no! Just stop there, Hank. Just stop there. Cut his mic off.
Did you
Dale.
just give him a 2?
Because the thing is, like, it's a smoothie. Like, there's berries, there's bananas, and you're just like, okay, that's pretty good. And those are the touchdowns. She also puts spinach in it, and you're just like, why is there spinach?
You know what? I'm now on your side. That's all right.
Yeah, exactly.
Apologies. That would
Exactly.
be all right.
Well, and then the spinach is kind of like a two-sided deal, right? Because obviously it makes things taste worse, and those are the mispasses. On the other hand, though, it's good for you. And maybe it's good for Russell Wilson to be, everybody get in here, do this thing. And while I didn't like it, I could see how there's value down the road in that decision being made.
That you defended that well.
Yeah,
That was-
you saved yourself.
I thought you were getting very familiar with sleeping on the couch tonight.
Yeah,
but I think you saved it.
I think he realized he got himself into hot water at first and was like, how can I get out of this? And to me, I'm going to go down the spinach route as well, Hank.
Wow, big spinach day.
He got a chicken salad, or a salad with chicken on it. But what comes out is actually 2 chicken tenders on top of the salad. Have you ever got that? So it's a nice little surprise. You're like, oh, this is good. But then what you don't realize is that all it is spinach underneath. There's nothing else.
Shit.
And the chicken tenders, when they put them on the salad, were crispy hot. So what did they do? They ruined all of the spinach that was touching it. So what you got was 2 good things. You got 2 good chicken tenders.
Yep.
And then a lot of spinach and then a lot of gross spinach. Yeah. And that's kind of what today was. I mean, there was a good foundation there from Russ, like you're saying, with the spinach. It gets you through the day. And good chicken tenders, 2 good things. And then the rest was just like, I never want that again. And that's kind of how today was for the offense. On the defensive side, though, I mean, it's just, again, it's Pat Surtain. Now, he did give up 1 touchdown to Courtland Sutton.
Yep.
That's going to happen. But then everything else from the secondary was within 10 yards. And I feel like that's just what we're saying day in and day out here, is maybe 1 deep pass. And when I say deep pass, 30-yard pass, or today 20-yard passes. And then everything else was really short.
Now, do you think with all of the incompletions we saw today, that may have been by design? Where they're like, whoa.
Yeah, the Pat Shurmur special.
Right, before we get downfield, let's make sure we can do the basics here, guys. Like, was it that kind of...
If any of these coaches on this staff say anything like that, they're going to lose pretty much everything. They're gonna be given the Pat Shurmur treatment.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something we should have asked Hackett.
Yeah. Been like, oh. Maybe they just couldn't handle the downfield stuff. Maybe Hackett saw some of the bubble screens and was like, hey, let's do some slants here, guy. Let's...
Yeah, I do kind of wish, like, in hindsight, I wish I would have asked him, just like, what went through your mind when you saw Russell Wilson miss those passes? Because I don't, again, like, it's not concern. It's just like,
Yeah.
what?
Everyone's human.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It was different. That's for sure. Maybe the play of the day for me was from Eric Tomlinson.
Wow.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I know what you're talking about.
I mean,
When he had...
there was only one, I feel like.
Yeah. I couldn't remember if it was just like drills or in the team period.
Yeah,
There's a
remember,
big block somewhere.
Eric Tomlinson gets one catch per year.
Yeah.
I think he had that catch today in training camp. It was, a 3-yard out route. And Russ, again, did not throw a very good ball.
No.
But because Eric Tomlinson's 6'7", 263 pounds, he has giant arms, he was able to tip it to himself and then make a diving catch to get the ball.
Yeah, and again, like a 5-yard gain or something. It's nothing huge, but again, like, it is one of those things where you're just like, yeah, that he is an NFL tight end. Like,
he's a big guy.
you think of he's massive,
big guy.
Like, you think of him as just like he's the big blocker, and that's what he does. And you're like, also, he is an NFL tight end. Like, he will catch some footballs. But yeah, I mean, that was a really great play. He get 5 yards, who cares? But
that was also a play, and if I remember correctly, and I've been seeing it a lot during training camp, is really quick bootlegs. It's not like fake it and then run that way. It's fake it, turn around and throw it. Like it's that I think it was one of those, and I was like, those are some really fast play action passes. I assume are for short yardage gains.
Yep.
And I mean, that's pretty hard to get on Eric Tomlinson and out position that big guy, but
it certainly is.
It's just something. Even I've seen Josh Johnson run some of them where it's just like fake it and immediately turn around and throw it. Bang.
Well, Yeah. And Henry, you pointed to this pretty much every single day, just the different things that are being done with this offense and how exciting it is. That's kind of a difference there, Ryan, of something that you just don't typically see. We can't go too much into that. That's about the only thing the Broncos say. You can't tell formation.
Am I going to get taken away here?
No, that's totally fine. One of the things that I think I can say that I noticed today, maybe for the first time, Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams both in the backfield. Okay. I don't think I can get into the details of exactly what happened, but it was a creative play, and I really liked it.
Okay. Yeah, I think I wish, it feels like after at least like the first couple shows, I'm saying like, I wish we could have talked about this. I wish we could have talked about that, because there is so much cool stuff happening, and can't get into the details, but you do a few times a day think, wow, those last guys never would have done that. Like that is way cooler than anything we've seen here in a while.
Yep.
And again, like, they're still installing stuff too. And we're reaching the end of that period, so we've probably seen most of it. But I don't think this is a staff that, it's like, here's the fun plays and that's it. One of the things when I was at CU, the new offensive coordinator, Mike Sanford, was saying was, our offense is going to change all season. Like, we're going to be watching all these games every Saturday, all these games every Sunday too, and see what we like that people are doing, and we're just going to take that. That's smart. And like, that feels like this staff too, where it's like, look at what they're doing there. Look what they're doing there. Yep. And just taking all of the best things that you can take. It's so much fun just to watch them.
Yeah, it is fun. A couple of other notes that I took from today, and I can get anything else that you guys want to talk about too, but Asang Bassi was the one to get the start in nickel for K'Wan Williams, who was going to miss a couple of days. They're going to play it safe with him, but good thing is no major injury for K'Wan. Or Asang Bassi, the one to get that step, not necessarily Ojemudia. So when they go into a nickel package, Ojemudia is not the first one that's going to be coming in if someone's injured. Yeah,
I mean, especially in that nickel spot, because again, like, he's an outside guy, and you could work things around. Surtain can play anywhere. If you're going up against Devontae Adams and they're playing Devontae Adams in the slot, then why not throw Surtain in there? But you kind of hamstring yourself a bit. Caden Stearns, he can play. Like, you have options, but this is the first time where we've gotten to see, like, this isn't us just talking about all the different things they could do. It's like, that's That's what they chose for day one.
Right.
That's what they chose.
Yep, exactly. Another takeaway that I had today was Baron Browning. I already talked about one of his sacks that he had. He had 2 sacks on the day today. Malik Reed still getting the start at outside linebacker opposite Bradley Chubb. But if Randy Gregory's going to miss a lot more time, I think we see Baron Browning start to get reps with the ones and potentially start to get starting reps with the ones, because he's a guy that he has done everything so far to prove it. And if you're not going to be able to count on Randy Gregory this year, Malik Reed is a really good situational pass rusher. He's not an every down guy, so you have to find that every down guy. And Baron Browning so far is doing everything to me to be that guy on the outside opposite Bradley Chubb if you're not going to have Randy.
No,
I totally agree.
That's a fair point.
Yeah, that's just a big, strong man out there. Again, like, his best traits are probably just like the bend around the edge and maybe even just like the strength at the point of attack on the edge.
Right.
And so it's easy to look back at last year and be like, he was playing pretty well. It's taking a risk to move him. But when you're playing him at inside linebacker, you might be taking away his 2 biggest strengths. And that sounds like a terrible idea. Also, jumping back to Ojemudia, there was one play where he just got cooked. I think Rippon hit Brandon Johnson over the top for a touchdown. Again, it's like that 20-yard range right there.
He did.
That's not... Again, it's one play, and it's not like I've been tuned into Ojemudia every play, so I can say like, consistently he's giving things up. But that does catch your eye right there.
It does. It certainly does. And really quick, we just got another massive another massive super chat from Gregory. Hit us with $50. Thank you so much, Randy. Gregory. We typically get to super chats in the
Gregory's
third.
making me Randy.
Yes, exactly. There you go.
Gregory famously at least 7.
Yes.
7 or older.
7 or older, exactly.
We're gonna narrow that down.
We really
He
appreciate
actually hit
that,
us
Gregory.
with $70. He sent in another $20
Oh,
one, too.
my goodness.
Shout out Gregory.
Any comments in those?
Nope.
Wow.
Just the silent,
Typical
the silent
Greg.
tipper.
Wow. Keep smashing that parent's credit card there, Gregory. No, we really appreciate the support, Gregory. And like I said, we typically get to super chats in the third, but I guess Gregory now gets the anytime super chat.
Gregory's like maybe on a tier of his own at this point.
I think he is. I think he is.
I think if any super chat is $50, that could be an anytime.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty close to being the DNVR Broncos podcast presented by Gregory.
yes. Hey, but speak to our people, and maybe we can work something out. You guys have any other takeaways that you want to talk about?
I have a takeaway.
Yes.
And I don't know if he was in for team periods, but I think this was the first day I saw Greg Dulcich catching passes during drills. Am I incorrect in saying that?
No, I think you're right.
Okay. I didn't think I saw him in live or 11 on 11, but that was an encouraging sign.
Yes. I
Wasn't a
love
full
that.
KJ Hamler return, but I was like, oh, I don't think I've taken pictures of this guy yet.
Yep, totally. I'll throw Montrell Washington out there.
Yeah.
He's been solid. You know, he hasn't quite done enough on any given day to be like, okay, here comes the Montrell Washington segment. But they had a great catch today. Probably 15 yards downfield, out route, beats PJ Locke, just taps the toes on the sideline.
It was so good.
See, I thought he would be a roster spot that was purely a specialist, but I think he's having a good enough camp where they're like, he may just be a 6th receiver, you know, like, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that's like what they're looking at.
I think it's bad news for Kendall Hinton.
I know. I don't want to hear that.
For any fifth receiver that's fighting for that spot, and I think it's Kendall Hinton. If Montrell Washington keeps playing like this, you're not going to count on him to be like your first backup. And if you get to your 5th wide receiver, you're probably in trouble anyways. But he's doing a really good job showing that he's more than just a returner. And honestly, my expectation for him this year were 100% returner.
Yeah.
Anything else is, I don't believe you. But now he's playing like a real wide receiver now.
He is.
It's a really good point.
Yeah, and we've seen some like inside-outside versatility too.
Yeah.
Like I think he's probably a slot receiver if he does make it onto the field just because of his skill set, because he's more of a weapon when he's in tight like that. But that's a good little receiver out there, and I maybe not this year, but at some point I think he's on the field not just as a returner.
I mean, I was joking about it, but like, it is funny that he had a deep touchdown pass from Russell Wilson, and KJ Hamler returns to the next practice. Like, that was kind of like the route, especially on that play in practice, was a KJ Hamler route. It looked like 2 out routes on the side and then right up the middle.
Well, so, was I talking with you about this before? Like the idea that Montrell and it might have been Cody Rourke, but like you get KJ back.
Confused.
It's one of you guys. I spent a lot of time talking to both of you today, but. KJ Hamler, it's like he probably comes back and plugs right into that role that Montrell's kind of been filling occasionally.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
If there's a setback in the knee.
Or they say, actually, we'll throw you in for Tim Patrick or Courtland Sutton or Jerry Jeudy on this play and put you both out there. Or maybe you go 4 wide and have those little slot guys out there and mess around with them.
Montrell in the backfield?
Oh, there we go.
Oh, my goodness.
You're starting to get to the point where it's like, there's a lot of different talents here. You can pair them all in different ways.
Yeah, and one of I think the best thing about Montrell right now is the Broncos don't have to eliminate a KJ Hamler package or like start paring those down. If for some reason there's a setback or something, they can start plugging him in.
Right.
Because what is Russ supposed to be really good at? Throwing the deep ball. So you want to have that weapon there for him. And KJ Hamler...
Or at least a threat of a deep ball.
Exactly. And KJ Hamler, I'm so glad he's back now, but he's still slowly working back. So Montrell can get those snaps until then. And I have one more takeaway today. After they took the day off yesterday and the coaches watched film, it was Quinn Meinerz who got every single snap at right guard today. Netane Muti was not able to break in there. So I'm curious if we see Muti move into there tomorrow or if this thing is going to be set and really Quinn Meinerz's job to lose.
Are you saying that 52 and 66 are now going to start splitting reps?
That'd be a twist. That'd be a twist.
No, but I think you're right. And honestly, I'm not surprised. Quinn just seems like that guy. Like, he just looks like he enjoys being a big offensive lineman and going out and hitting people and blocking. Like, he's just a fun guy to cheer for.
And I don't think I've said this, but whenever I think of Quinn Meinerz, it's just like, it feels like a guy who's going to be a Bronco for a while. Like, that just... hope. Just like there's your guard there. In the same way that Garrett Bowles, there's your center there. And like Lloyd Cushenberry, like you could see it, but you don't have like a that feels like it's just locked in. Now you could get to that point here soon. Reisner's probably kind of in that group for me. I think that he is kind of your guy there for a while, but Quinn Meinerz does have those vibes. And I think Netane Muti, again, very talented. I think a solid fit for this scheme probably. But we'll see. We'll see. Again, like full contact, all that stuff starts tomorrow.
Exactly.
And that'll be big.
I would personally love it if this was their starting 5 and they didn't mess with it anymore. Unless one of the guys messes up and Muti earns his shot at that. But the quicker they get this decided, I think the better for the team.
Maybe they did.
Maybe
they did get it decided. Maybe we're seeing it.
Maybe we are. And something that you can see right now is a free bet, a risk-free bet up to $1,000 over at DraftKings Sportsbook by using the code DNVR. You want to sign up soon so that you're ready to rock and roll once football season gets going. Of course, you can also bet on baseball. And one of the things, I say this every single day because it's so true, every single day they hit you with a profit boost, with something to make it fun. You can also get in on same-game parlays, which takes a boring baseball game to a whole nother level of excitement, something that you're looking for. And you can do that with a risk-free bet up to $1,000 over at DraftKings Sportsbook. So head to the App Store now, download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now, and use promo code DNVR when you sign up to get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. Use that code DNVR over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, Colorado only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. And speaking of DraftKings, guys, let's jump in and give our DraftKings Sportsbook pick of the week. Henry, what do you got?
I'm not sure if I've mentioned this on this podcast yet, but I've got futures bet that I really like. And usually, so the way that usually works is like you make a futures bet, and you're like, oh, this team's going to win their division. And then 3 weeks later, you look back and you're like, I can still see it, but I don't think so. This one has been months, and I'm still just like, this is going to happen. You can get 45-1 odds on the Packers to beat the Bills in the Super Bowl. I think the Bills coming out of the AFC, I really like. The Packers lost back-to-back NFC championship games. It really feels like this is kind of the year where they finally break through. Rodgers off-field stuff is kind of over. Bills, I mean, you guys know the Bills. You see the case for that. But Rodgers kind of getting this last ring here against the Bills is my vibe.
Yeah, I love that bet, except for the fact that you forgot that Aaron Rodgers does not win championship games. So I like the Bills part, but the
because the Bills will win championship games.
yeah, that's a great point. What do you got for me? So you're going anti-Bills now? Going anti-Bills bet?
Well, yes. Let's go with that. I was gonna go a different league.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me with
I
it.
am quietly a Yankees fan.
Oh,
I don't know if you knew.
Little bandwagon.
My dad grew up in New York, so
You are pretty quiet
summers
about
there. Yes, I don't. I understand what people think of Yankees fans, so
Yeah.
I try and
I
not
could
be
tell
that, guy.
you knew that right away from
Yeah,
how you set that up.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
I used to
I
hate
know.
Yankees fans, and then now at this point, it's like,
Oh.
you can convince
Wait
me.
till we win another one.
Yeah, exactly. Not tied to the Rockies.
So I saw this bet on DraftKings, and I had to do it. It's called the Human Torch because Aaron Judge, that's exactly what he is right now. The Human Torch.
Yeah.
This guy, I don't know if you are watching, he is on pace to at least give Barry Bonds a run for most home runs hit in a season. Makes me think he may be juicing, but regardless, he's got like 40-something. So the playing the Mariners tonight,
Yep.
got him to hit a home run, 2 or more hits and 2 RBIs, and the Yankees win. Give me that Human Torch.
What are we looking at odds-wise?
That's plus 450. And I'm all over it. That guy's he's just on one. And
He
it's
really
the
is.
Mariners. Come on.
Yeah. I like
There it
that.
is.
I like that bet a lot. I'm gonna go kind of a similar route. The Week 1 revenge games is a little package DraftKings put together. So it is the Patriots to beat the Dolphins.
Yeah.
It is the Chargers to beat the Raiders. Of course, the revenge there is
I'm
the
in.
overtime game.
in.
Yep.
And then it's the Denver Broncos to beat the Seattle Seahawks.
I would also be.
Couldn't you argue that one both ways? If Drew Lock starts, I guess, which might be a
Sure,
stretch.
yeah, you could, but I think, DraftKings just knows no one's going to pick
Yeah.
Seattle in that one.
It's true.
So that's plus 428. So it all should happen.
That's
I
not
think
bad.
that's all going
That's
to
actually-
happen.
yeah.
And so I like that one. And that's just another fun thing that DraftKings does. They put these
That's a good
together
one.
and makes it fun as well. So check out DraftKings Sportsbook. And do we have anything else that we need to give a shout out to?
Our friends over at Athletic Greens. So what Athletic Greens is a powder that's packed with 75 vitamins and minerals and adaptogens and whole food source superfoods and all sorts of the really good things that you're supposed to have in your body, but almost nobody in America does because we don't. It's
I do. I had it this morning.
yeah. Did you get from McDonald's? Probably that's. Oh, your Athletic.
No,
Greens.
my Athletic
Okay,
Greens.
your Athletic Greens. Yeah, exactly.
Wait, what was the McDonald's shop?
Oh yeah, just saying like that's
But I may have McDonald's as well.
preservatives because that's what we do here. I love preservatives.
That's how you balance out McDonald's is Athletic Greens.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try
There you
that.
go.
Yeah, it's like those.
Science.
It's better than like my girlfriend's smoothies because then you get like the good. It's like there's this part where it's like, except they're both better, aren't they?
She should put the Athletic Greens in instead of spinach.
It-
If you're listening.
There you go.
Oh, wow, what a great idea. But yeah, it's good stuff. You just take a little scoop, you put it in the jug, you shake the jug about, you drink it, tastes good, gets you all right for your day, it gives you energy, helps with your gut health. It just makes you a bright person, which is a good thing to be. So Athletic Greens, go to athleticgreens.com/Broncos. You'll get 5 free travel packs, some perks like that, and a
shiny
year's
nails.
supply of vitamin D is the other piece.
Supporting vitamin D.
Immune supporting
There you
vitamin
go.
D.
Yep.
I can do it. I don't need to look. athleticgreens.com/Broncos.
All right, let's hop into the questions from the people. We've got a couple
Ooh.
super chats to hit first. Kale, who are we
Questions.
talking to?
Z Reeves comes in and says, "Ask Josie about that Iowa peaches and cream corn. I have no idea what he means."
I think he's talking about the debate that we've had.
Yes.
Peaches and corn. Which one's better? Iowa
Josie's a Hawkeye,
or
right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he's an Iowa guy. I can only imagine he's going to say Iowa has better corn.
I've heard he's an outlaw. So maybe he says Denver or Colorado.
I like that. I
Big
like
lacrosse
that.
fan. Yeah.
All right, coming in from Brian Para. Loving the lengths of the shorts today, boys. Hashtag
Oh my God.
Yeah.
They still weren't short enough for today, man.
No, nothing was short enough.
No, that was hell out there.
It was hot.
And then coming in from Peter Terranova. Sup, fellas. Love the new additions to the pod. Just wanted to pop in and say what's up. Weird question for Henry, but I love the shoes. What are those?
Wow. So my shoes. So the shoes I was wearing, this could be a much shorter
wrecked.
story. They're good. They're good shoes, but I wore them the night the Avs won the cup, and so we'll walk downtown. There's people shooting off fireworks, people jumping on my feet, and so they were dirty. Then also the home run derby, I wore those and got dirt all over them, so they were gross. And I was like, I don't have time to figure out how to clean shoes, so I bought a new pair of shoes. Ooh. These are from Dick's Sporting Goods. No free advertising though.
That was free advertising.
And they say fly knit. They say
Nike
good.
Fly Nets.
They put the labels.
I'm sure
in
there's
new
some type of
places
React.
now. Nike React.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. There's a little orange, a little yellow, a little
shoes.
green. I figured because they're a little bit off white, they'll probably stay just a little bit cleaner. Was the thought. But then also, I've been wearing so much beige recently, which you can see. It works well.
Big
I
beige guy
appreciate
over
that.
here.
I like how
Yeah.
Hank wanted a shoe that was going to stay clean, so he got just off-white.
Off-white.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Already kind of look dirty.
Yeah.
That's a smart play.
It's
Exactly.
like Golden Goose if you really wanted to like feed into that.
Yes.
Yeah, they just come dirty.
Also has to accentuate my beige.
Yeah.
Yeah, smiley face on the tongue of it too. I like that.
Yeah, isn't that? It's a little sunshine.
Oh, the mouse of Nike. Okay, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I
Yeah, that
think
is
they
cool.
charged
Palm
like $30
tree?
for that.
I love
Yeah.
it. Dang.
Jeez, I might leave a comment on your shoes.
Wow, I can show you the shelf.
All right, is that it for Super Chats? That is. All right, we got some questions on the website over at thednvr.com. And the first one, well, while I'm pulling it up, do you have it up, Hank? No, you don't have it up. I don't have it up, but I'm pulling it up right now. The
Me
first
too.
one is coming in from our friend. Here we go.
Oh, might not be
There we go.
me.
It
Our
is
friend. Oh, no
big.
questions.
It's definitely our friend, Big Hank Stan. He says, I'm the biggest egg guy. Also, Hank, if I lose my bet to you, I'll also drink a shame cocktail from one of my old shoes. Just to make it more interesting for myself. Love, Hank Stan.
Let's freaking go.
What bets do you have?
That's the Melvin Gordon or Javonte Williams more yards from scrimmage bet. I've got
yep.
Javonte.
Okay.
I like it.
I feel pretty good about it.
I like it. Wow. I mean, Big Hank Stan just really upped the ante for himself.
He did.
He got a cocktail out of his shoe.
Yes.
That is impressive.
Yes.
Can't get lower than calling himself a Hank Stan. So.
Maybe I'll drink it. Wow. Wow. Oh
Is it
my
going down
goodness.
right now? Is there a fight? Next one from Samuel Bisu. He says, hey guys, just got back from a family
No, there
vacation.
isn't.
Thanks for all the content. It made my flights and trains more enjoyable. I was in London for a couple of days and I absolutely love the city. You guys are going to have a blast there. On the food topic, I went with very low expectations but came out very pleasantly surprised. We ate on an Indian restaurant and a pub. Both were really good. The fish and chips were awesome and so was the curry. The only dish I would not recommend are all the nachos. My daughter wanted to order them and they were really bad. Zac Shakshuka, not to be confused with Chihuahua, are an Israeli breakfast dish done
Chihuahuas.
right. I bet RK would love them because all the spices and flavors. Yes. Yeah, as I pronounced Chihuahua one time.
Wow.
Yeah.
I missed that one.
Yeah.
If you've never seen the word, it may be. I prefer Chihuahua.
Or
Yeah.
heard it. Or,
It just.
I mean, if you read it, it's Chihuahua.
You're
Yeah.
yeah. But
Yeah, I just go by how off it looks.
Yeah, I
He
believe
also
that
says,
British nachos aren't great.
Not a lot of British food is good.
how can you mess up nachos though?
I wouldn't. Like, come on.
You know too much about nachos. That's why it seems so
I
hard
see.
to you.
You share a
I
border
see.
with Mexico.
Right,
like you're
right,
set,
right,
my
right,
guy.
Like,
right.
try to throw everything you know about nachos out of your brain, and then just, Zach, I need you to make me nachos, which is a plate of tortilla chips with
Yep.
cheese on them,
Yep.
with some different sorts of like spicy types of vegetables and
Okay.
stuff. You can put some meats on there, some beans. I can't emphasize enough how different my beans are from your beans as a British person.
Exactly.
And so see
You're
how
getting
there's like some
kidney
things
beans
that-
with goat
Oh,
cheese
okay.
and like
Yeah.
spotted
Yeah.
liver,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Some spotted dick. Yeah.
Spotted dick.
Yeah, I'm definitely staying away from nachos. He also says one more thing. Shout out to Ryan Green for
Let's
the
go.
spotlights.
Wow.
Awesome new feature. Ryan has been a great addition to your team. I completely agree. Thanks for the spotlights.
They're fun.
In fact, we're
Yeah.
getting one later today.
Yeah, today's
Ooh.
good. I got some good
Heck
behind the scenes
yes,
stuff.
I
Really?
love it. I can't wait to see that.
Kareem Jackson made me dance today. Did I tell you guys?
Wow.
Yeah.
No.
So it was during the red zone period, and the starters were off, and they were talking mad shit, dude. It was so fun to listen to
Yeah.
them, but they were standing right by the media. I look over, and Kareem Jackson is like dancing, and he's staring at me. And I'm like, so I like laugh because it's a weird dance. And he's like, "Can you do this?" And I was like, "Probably not." And he's like, "Try it." And then all of a sudden, the defense is looking at me.
Oh, my
Like,
gosh.
all right, let's try it. I did it. I probably embarrassed myself, but
Did they laugh at you?
yes, but it seemed like an approval laugh. Like, oh,
Okay.
okay.
Little
But I'm
sympathy
sure it was
laugh.
awful. I really hope someone got it. So it was a weird dance.
If anyone's
going to
get it, it would have been you.
That's the tough
You
part.
would have been videographying it.
No, because it was not during shooting period. Didn't have my camera.
Yeah, that's true.
I wish I had it.
Yep.
But yeah.
But yeah.
First time,
Ryan
Kareem
Jackson.
Jackson
I
asked me
wish
to
that
dance.
was on the spotlight.
I could say that. KJ asked me to dance.
Pretty cool.
Wow.
He made me dance on Twitter a couple of months ago. Windy City Broncos says, when there was talk of Wilson wanting to leave the Seahawks, it was framed as an issue of how he was used. Too much running and not enough cooking. As we look at the relationship between the Broncos that have established between Wilson, it seems pretty clear that the real issue, or what the real issue was. As much as Wilson might want to make good money and win football games, he also wanted to be a partner in that with the team and the coaching staff. He wanted the office. He wanted his people. He wanted to say in what the team does. He felt he had something to bring to the team beyond his arm. The Broncos will put him in a good position to win, but they also gave him a voice in what the team does. There's a lot of teams with too many egos to do this. I'm glad Peyton and Hackett knew what it would take to cook and did it. I think it's a good point. And essentially, that's what you have to do with franchise quarterbacks nowadays. You have to give them what they want, everything. To whatever extent, you have to make them happy with the money, with everything on the field, with everything off the field.
And it's a lot easier when you're in the Broncos situation where it's like, yes, come in here and we will just give you all of these things.
We've been dying for someone.
Exactly.
Like that,
We're just like, yes, this is how this works. Come in and we'll do it. When you're the Seahawks and you draft him in like the third round or whatever, like he does not start as Russell Wilson. He starts as like some random guy, and it's like you got to
point.
build your way up. And those transitions, I could see how they'd be like. It's like, hey Russell, we now want to give you an office. Like we now want you to do. And so just to be able to come in and be like, yep, superstar quarterback, top level, you get all those things, easy, done, and no drama.
Yep. And that's, whether it's right or wrong, quarterback's a different animal. Yeah, you
Yes.
can do everything for him. Next one comes from asking from a friend. He says, I know I'm a couple of days late, but I'm catching up on pods this weekend. Zach was correct. There is not only an Olathe in Colorado, but it has its own strain of sweet corn, commonly called Olathe sweet corn. I grew up
Mostly
in
sweet.
Delta, about 8 miles away. So in my opinion, Colorado is home to the best peaches and sweet corn. Just making sure our super producer, Kale, heard that.
I did.
Okay, good.
We also got another super chat that said peaches and cream is a variety of corn.
Oh. Is it speckled?
It
Like,
must
is that
be.
what makes it peaches and cream?
You think that's what that Snoop Dogg song was about?
No, I don't, Hank. No, I don't.
And I don't even know the reference, but I'm just gonna say no. I really
the
don't.
correct way to go.
I really don't think so. Big Hank Stan chimes in again and says Watson is a criminal.
Yeah.
Short and sweet. 6 games. What do you guys think?
I mean, wow. What do I think? I mean, first of all, this is what I expected. Second of all, it's totally wrong. Like,
Yes.
like, what are we doing?
Yes.
Like, how? In what world? I mean, we don't.
4 civil lawsuits equal 1 game suspension. So
I guess.
you should have stopped after 3, Deshaun.
I guess.
I don't. It's all over the place. Like
It's wild.
Like people immediately were comparing it to the Calvin Ridley suspension. And you're like,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
this looks absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous. But if you were expecting anything different from the NFL, that's on you.
Yep.
And it's just the inconsistencies with not just the rulings, but then also they did this one in a very different way where they let a judge do this, and the NFL was pushing for more. The NFLPA wanted less. Why isn't every suspension handled the same way? Whether it's and just the inconsistencies are what just blows my mind.
And Albert Breer was talking about how like they judged it on 5 of the cases being brought to the NFL, not all of them, just like 5 had been brought to the NFL, and that's what they decided. It was a big. It sounds like NFL PR, but like it was just not a good look for the NFL. Again,
and I just don't understand. Like, we don't need to go down all these. There's 20 different ways you could say this is just dumb.
Yes,
and there's you could take whatever path you want, but you just compare it to the other suspension. It'd be like, take the number of games out and just like list these last 50 guys who've been suspended based on what they did wrong. It's just like, let's just go best thing to
let's
worst
start with
thing.
the weed.
Exactly. It's like,
right?
yeah, so that feels like one game.
Right.
It's like, what did Vaughn get suspended for
6,
smoking weed?
Wasn't that because he was using dog pee or something?
Oh, he cheated on a drug test.
Yeah.
So about the same as it's like
as 24.
But if you were to put these in order, you're just like, no, it doesned make sense.
Yeah.
And no, and there's so many disgusting things to all of this.
Yes.
And just another one is that he just signed a $230 million fully guaranteed contract, and he's losing $350,000.
Yeah, and it was restructured, right? So he could have like owed $11 million or something had it not been this new contract. And so that just sounds like way skeevy. And
it is. It's so
awful
situation.
situation.
So slimy.
Yep. It just, I don't know. There's still the chance that Goodell comes out and he's like, so we have that information that they did, and now we're going to actually do this, and then go through whatever. And it's not over yet, but it is just one of those things where you look at it and say, 6 games is what we decided here.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 is the number.
Yeah, and it seems like everyone probably outside of Cleveland is thinking like, what in the hell?
I'm sure even inside Cleveland, like, come on.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Next one from Big Tony, who says, my boys, you're on a roll. A is also a letter. Since I missed commenting on Saturday's pod, pick two letters to catch up today. So we have A, S, and E. Hank, what are you thinking? What do you want to go with?
Letters. So, I mean, a T is a popular one. We need more vowels in that top word, though. Vowels are going to be safe. So we should probably take one vowel and one consonant.
O?
Yeah, let's take an O.
Okay, let's go O and T, you said?
Yeah,
Okay,
sure. Let's go.
Let's do O and T. Yeah, 2 words. It's 8 and then 6. E is the last letter. And then you have, in the second word, blank, blank, A, blank, blank, S.
Yeah, I'd go O or R. R is a good.
Ooh, want to go O and R?
Yeah.
Let's go O and R.
Let's do or.
Wonder
O
wonder
and
why
R.
Ryan's
I like
pushing
that.
for R.
I like that.
Who could guess?
Of course.
I'm playing this like a game of Wordle. I'm just like,
We're playing with Al's money on this one. He goes on and says, my question for today, is Eric Saubert getting the number 1 reps at tight end, or does he just so happen to be getting the ball all these touchdowns while rotating in as a backup? That's all for today. Big Tony out.
They're putting all sorts of tight ends in there.
Yeah.
Like, he's getting some chances. Again, we can't get into all the schematic things, but all those tight ends do different things. And so you put in who you need there. Sometimes you need multiple. Sometimes you don't. But they seem to be working in all those guys with the first team offense.
Can I make one observation?
Absolutely.
Saubert and Wilson seem to spend the most time with each other after practice. Every single time. And I'm over there because the autograph session. But Russ is usually over there with wide receivers working on some type of red zone routes and showing them all that stuff. And Saubert is one that he works with a lot. I don't know if I have missed other tight ends down there, but I know it's the receivers and Saubert that are usually down there.
So Eric Saubert's a
So
smart man.
again, it's he may have been a dark horse for a lot of people, but I would absolutely not be surprised if he is on the roster.
Yeah, no, not at all. And today, again, he had, I think, 2 catches from Russ. So that chemistry pays off. BHAM Broncos says, happy Monday, gents. I have 1 question, 1 observation for today. Question, how has Nathaniel Hackett's energy translated to this phase in the offseason? He seemed to channel it up into a super high amount of focus and drive rather than straight up hype, which I think is much more sustainable for a full season. Thoughts?
I think that's probably fair.
That's a fair
Like, he's always animated. But, I mean, he's not just out there being goofy at this point because there's shit to do.
And I would say today we really got to see it because on the podium he still had so much energy.
Yeah.
But it wasn't joking around like he has in the past. This was the pissed off Nathaniel Hackett, which is still he's not a different person. And I was curious what he's going to be like when he's upset. But he was upset, still so much energy, mostly positive, although he did say some things against the offense.
Yep.
I think it's like how you would explain like a pickup game if your friends just were not good at shooting that day. Like, you know, I'm sure you had fun playing basketball, but like, yo, we shot like shit today. Like, it was not good. I don't know what we were doing.
Right.
And so, yeah, again, I was always, and I'm sure some people were more worried about it, the friendliness aspect. Like, okay, you know, can this guy get to be a hard ass and actually, like, does it work? And I think you're right. I think we saw it today where I'm like, okay, no, he cares. Like, these guys realize that he's just not out here trying to be friends with them. Like, he cares.
And we heard some of the guys have been talking about that sort of thing. Like he is keeping people accountable.
Yeah.
Was it? I think it was KJ today who might have. No, it wasn't KJ. Who else was talking today?
On the podium,
Dalton. That's he was talking about it, saying. You know, it's like he'll call people out. He'll say something's wrong. He'll start a meeting by pointing out missed throws or missed blocks or somebody taking somebody to the ground and that sort of thing. So it's not just like all happy, fluffy stuff.
Right, exactly. Next one, and then his observation is, I'm so glad the Broncos are relevant again because seeing the kind of content it allows DNVR to produce is truly amazing. The vibes, energy, quality of the pod are at an all-time high right now. I find myself grinning nearly every episode between the antics you guys get into and the high-quality sports journalism you provide. We can tell you guys are genuinely having a great time covering the team rather than trying to sell us on something that may or may not and definitely hasn't delivered up to expectations. I don't know if that made sense, but basically keep doing what you're doing and go frickin' Broncos. Thank you so much, Beham Bronco. That means a lot.
Yes, it does.
Hell yeah.
It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot of fun, and that's what we try to do. We try to give you the best sports coverage while also just having a blast while doing it. And it's a lot easier to do that when the Broncos are fun. Yes. Yep. And final one coming in from Denver Rivals. He says, hey guys, 2 questions today. Which day of training camp would be better to go to, this Friday or Saturday? I'm excited to go back to Dove Valley after almost 8 years. My second question, since your old bar team is gone, who would be the best person to reach out to about scheduling happy hours, fundraisers, or other events like that? Either way, support Denver Rivals, and August means football is practically back.
Probably Spencer?
Yep, probably Spencer or
Perry?
You know where to start?
Yep.
Help at thednvr.com.
Yes, help at thednvr.com. Yes. Solve all of your problems right there.
And they'll get you in contact with Spencer.
Yep.
And then his other question, I think this week, Wednesday is going to be a down practice. I think tomorrow's going to be a lit practice.
Hackett's rule of threes. I was like, does that mean it's a Wednesday? Yeah.
Yep. So I think tomorrow's going to be lit. I think Wednesday,
bring it back down a bit.
Very lame.
Okay.
Yep. Thursday is going to be lit.
Friday's
going to be lame. And then Saturday is going to be lit. So I'd go between Friday and
Friday's
Saturday.
Friday's going to be lame.
Yeah.
Would that just be one day?
One day of what?
Beforehand that was lit?
What?
Because today's lit, tomorrow's lit.
Yep.
Then it's lame.
Yep.
Then it's
then
lit.
Then
lame.
lit. Oh, no. See,
lame.
I was thinking lit, lame, not lit, lame,
See,
lit.
I'm on that side.
They're not going to end on a lame practice.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also with our media schedule, they've kind of given us a window of when practices are shorter and when they're longer. And I believe Saturday is a 2.5 hour practice.
All right, then Saturday.
I think Friday's an hour and a half practice.
Oh,
go Saturday.
There we go.
Yep. So go Saturday. It's going to be fun. And guys, this pod was a lot of fun. Caleb, do we have any super chats we need to hit on the way out?
Nope.
All right, there we go. Thank you guys so much for rolling with me today. Henry, Ryan, I had a blast. And thank you all so much for tuning in. Hit us with a thumbs up if you're watching on YouTube on the way out. And of course, Broncos practice tomorrow. We'll be here at 3 p.m. Have a great Monday.